like to start by saying a massive thank you to each and every one of you for coming out tonight and making time. As Jeremy Corbyn said recently, it is time. It's time for change. It's time to build a new political party, as we all know, hence why we're here. It's time to change the system. It's time to redistribute the wealth, the power, and the corruption that's been going on. As Zarah Sultana also said, this is a party of the people, a party by the people, a party for the people.
Everyone who's come out tonight, on this rainy night, is because we can't sit with injustice. Everyone who has felt austerity, everyone who has taken this genocide into their hearts, everyone who sees the planet burning, everyone whose pay has not shifted with inflation, everyone who knows that this is a cost of greed crisis, everyone who knows of children going hungry, libraries closing, and the NHS underfunding whilst the rich get richer, everyone who has a child growing up in a mental health pandemic, part of which is not knowing will they ever afford a home. To everyone who takes all of this into their hearts, it burns. Welcome, and welcome to you who want to change this. Welcome to you who want to build communities. Welcome to you who want to stand up to racism. Welcome to you who call to account Britain's complicity with Israel and with the UAE. So much of this movement, I believe, has been born of the genocide in Palestine and has been born of the Palestine movement as I have been born in this role, which began with my inspiration of Jeremy Corbyn. And now I'm here today, and we're here discussing this new party. And this new party, your party, will only grow from our communities, created from within and not dictated from above. The Tory and Labour are collapsing. Their religious fervour for the monolith of capital is crumbling. And are we going to let reform march in? Are we going to let reform march in because we've had a fight on Twitter? Are we going to let reform march in because we can't decide who holds the data and who holds the money? And are we going to let reform march in because we're being tribal about who our left-wing party is? We have to have one left-wing person and party in each constituency, and we have to work together.
People don't have to agree with me, but maybe it'll give something to aid the discussion when we break up. We, of course, want our party to win elections. We want MPs, we want councillors. But the centre of gravity of this new party, I believe, has to be the movements. It has to be the hundreds of thousands that have marched in solidarity with the Palestinians, the thousands that mobilised in August 2024 to stop the far-right attacks on the asylum hostels and continue to mobilise against the poisonous racism of Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson. The campaigners on housing, environment, trans rights, the NHS, some of the people that are represented here by the stalls, these are the people that need to be the centre of gravity. And of course the millions of trade unionists in this country still shackled by the draconian anti-union laws, stopping them from fighting back effectively to defend their terms and conditions. And our election campaign, our election candidates need to come from these movements. What better election candidate can there be than perhaps one of the people who's been arrested for defying the ban on Palestine action and holding a placard in London? Those are the kind of people that we need to put forward to directly challenge the powers that be.
want the party to be?
Should we just brainstorm? What is our party for?
See what it's not for. It's not for threatening each other legally. But who's running the data?
Try and work together with their bonus.
Yeah.
Unity, like unity.
No, you don't have to
like,
that was unity.
Not
Transport
party, fair at place.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Not for legal
Right,
press.
that's what I think.
Support, unity, and solidarity.
I would say it's for the people, because nothing represents the people at the moment, right? Within political parties, or some people are represented, but certainly, it's failing massively, isn't it? So many people. So. I think it's that simple. It's for the
The thing
people.
is, in countries where there is great equality, there's much more happiness and satisfaction with their lives. So if you look to the sort of Nordic, these sort of countries, then they come way up in the...
People are even happier with higher taxation because they've got housing.
They get something from it.
And they see taxation as a privilege.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
more tax they pay,
absolutely.
they see that as a privilege because they're earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
Scandinavian countries, sorry, is that what you're saying? Because they do have a lot of taxes.
Yeah, they do, but they see it as a privilege rather than something to avoid.
But that's because in their governments actually use the tax money to improve the lives of people.
Everybody.
Whereas here they don't do that.
No, exactly.
So I think that's what if you put money in somewhere and you're guaranteed that somewhere is going to take care of your health, education, culture, and all that, then I think you would be happy to pay more taxes as well. I think but the fact is that we're paying taxes for them to just demonise.
But I think even in this country there have been studies done where they've asked about paying more tax, and people say exactly that. They would be happy to pay more tax if they saw that it was going to be used to improve.
But it's so inefficient,
conditions.
and sometimes I studied corruption at Sussex. It was a load of rubbish. I wish I hadn't. I'd say it was pro free market, pro neoliberal, anti-corruption. It was designed to make markets work, rather than. It certainly wasn't for global equality. It wasn't to look at what we were doing in the developing world.
I know that Collective Action Brighton and Hove did a letter, and that was very, very good. And we should start doing more of that sort of stuff. But if we don't want to go down that route, we should probably just join the Green Party. Because if they are where the left is locally, and they are going to run a candidate in Kemptown and Peacehaven, then why not just join them, force their hand, and make sure that they run a socialist candidate?
Well, I think even if we could do that, I think your party must maintain its political independence. You can't dissolve those.
But it's not a party. That's the problem. There's these two factions.
Well, we're hoping it's going to be one, aren't we?
But we need to make that happen, and unless at the base we affect some sort of leverage over our leadership, they're just going to keep on having these internecine spats with each other, and it's going to go nowhere.
Well, that's what's going to happen over the next couple of months, isn't it?
Yes,
Hopefully.
I saw something in Collective Action that about the documents that your party so-called leadership had already produced, and there was the group in Sheffield that had made loads of excellent suggestions. So I think there are people who are thinking the same, who've been active in other political groups and campaigns, who can really see how things need to be. I think there's a lot of people that are feeling the same, and I just trust that those people are going to effect change. I do. Isn't there? There's a conference. I'm not greatly involved. Are you in the machinations of your party? But I think there's a conference coming up.
Yes, there'll be there's local assemblies.
Assembly,
So we need to work hard to make sure that our
the right
position
decisions
comes
are made.
through. We push the leadership. This is what we want.
Agreed. I mean, they can't think that it's going well. God,
Has anybody actually read the founding documents? I have not read them.
no.
The draft?
No, I haven't.
I think nobody
I remember going on little pickets outside of Weatherspoons when they were trying to unionise about 7 or 8 years ago. It was fantastic. You know, there's people in Wetherspoons that were standing up to that idiot, whatever his name is, and they actually won. You know, people just think people working in in pubs or bars or in care homes often don't think that unions are for them, and they bloody well are.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I think the trouble is Matt and I are active in union, so is Liz as well, active in union. I'm sure I don't know the rest of you. I'm sure you are as well. One of the problems we've got is that the unions have been so utterly stripped of their powers and their ability to organise and to take secondary action, and so to a certain extent they've become irrelevant. And you look at places like Italy, they're so powerful, and the Labour Party hasn't given back the rights that the Tories took. That's why we're in one of the problems that we've got. We need those rights given back to trade unions and to working class people.
Yeah, it should be more than just firefighting in workplaces, which is what a lot of it ends up feeling like.
This whole question about reform revolution, I'd love what our party, your party to be, is a place where we continue to have that debate and we have it out in the open, and because that is just fundamental to how we change things. And it's a really interesting discussion, and I think that
we don't have to do that bit because
there should be really thorough debate within the party. That's what it's for, that we really get into meaty discussions and have that in a really comradely way and develop our thinking. I think that's what I would take from that.
Could I add something to that? Because I think we're talking about movement building versus party building. Because a social movement versus party building. Because building a movement is different to building a party, and sometimes these things are getting very mixed. And I think if you do have a strong social movement, party emerges, right? And I think that's what we've seen with Corbynism. There was a social movement behind it, party emerged. So I think that those two things could be interlinked, but they have to be separate things to build. I think we can tend to.
And it'd be really interesting to figure out how you make social movement part of a party, because that's not been done before, apart from social movement putting pressure on MPs to then vote in certain ways, which is how we've got major changes over the decades and centuries, really. But how you kind of make that integral.
You could say that the Labour Party was built on a trade union movement, so it did come out of a movement, and then they wanted representation in Parliament. But then obviously it ended up just being a parliamentary party. So we have to avoid that, haven't we?
We've only got one chance to get this right, I think. This is a generational shift. Yeah, it really is.
We owe something to the next generation, don't we?
We did.
We haven't left them very much.
We've left them nothing.
Which is, I suppose, why the top of the party made quite so many errors lately. They're all trying to do it in a hurry because May elections are coming up.
For me, it still begs the question of how do we force Corbyn, Sultana, Carrie Murphy? Feinstein and that lot, they're gone. They've had enough now. But how concretely, what do we do to force their hand to affect the changes that we want them to affect?
Surely we have to have elected leaders.
But they control everything. We have no leverage at the moment.
We've got to tell them we're controlling it now.
but how do we do that? Concretely, how do we do that?
In fairness to them, and my tongue clefts as I say this, because it's very difficult to start with a blank piece of paper, and so I think someone had to make some decisions and to move forward. But the opportunities now exist, I think, for us as the membership to exert our authority, simply because there are a lot of us, and as you say, frankly, some of the things that have happened don't make those people shine out as faultless. So I think that's quite obvious that we need to proceed in a different way to the way we've operated up to now.
What a great honour to be here. What a great evening. What a great stance we're taking for our futures. We are going to change Brighton and Hove. I wanted to say a couple of things about local issues because they are very important and they're key to us. They're key to us keeping reform out for a start, but there are a couple of issues we need to acknowledge and really think about. Number one, child poverty in Brighton and Hove is at 28%. 28% in Brighton and Hove. And it's predicted to get worse. What does that say to where our Labour Party's taken us? What has it said about the previous governments and where they've taken us? We need to be talking to these people and we need to be reaching out to them and acknowledge this as a really central issue. There's other important facts, I won't say all of them, but I'll say a few. 15.3% of children in North Port Slade are in households where both parents are unemployed. What kind of statistic is that? I thought I read this in the history books about child poverty, about people not having the resources to go to school and not having housing. How disgraceful that these statistics are still today, and they're going to get worse. Fuel poverty, over 16,000 homes in Brighton and Hove don't have enough money to heat their own homes. What does that tell us? An absolute disgrace. It tells us we need a new direction and a new party. And many of us here plodded the streets. We plodded the streets through the working class areas, the areas of the most poverty. We walked around Hollingdean, we walked around Whitehawk, we walked around Moulscombe for the Labour Party, and we made a difference to those people's lives. We got representation, and we were betrayed. And that is why this party is central to what we're going to do. To keep out reform, we need to reach out to working class people and convince them that we are going to make a difference to their lives.
When your party was launched, and Zarah Sultana basically launched it because Corbyn had did it for far too long, thousands of people expressed their interest, and that grew to 850,000 people. But instead of those at the very top getting their act together, what we have done is actually build the Green Party. I mean, that is the result of what the complete chaos at the centre.
I thought I'd joined your party months ago, and I sent £100, but I didn't seem to be a member. Apparently there's almost £1 million hidden somewhere. I think someone has to tell us what's going on with all this MOU stuff and not sweep it under the carpet, because I haven't joined. I don't know whether to join the Greens or your party, and I haven't really heard anything tonight that tells me what to do.
Your party, not you. Yeah, hang on.
Well, you've got to, you can't just ignore the elephant in the room. It's been a terrible mess, and people have become disillusioned. There were 800,000 members. Where are they? What's happening? You know, and now the Greens are number 2, and of course they will be. But you know, it's just what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do next week?
We all need to decide on that. Absolutely,
Well,
I agree.
what does that mean? We all decide.
Well, we need to go home, we need to reflect on tonight, and then we need to decide. It's not a one quick fix answer, is it?
I don't know what that means. Sorry. I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't have the answer. I'm here tonight to try and collaborate and find an answer.
Could I ask this? Sorry.
There's 12 more minutes. Maybe we should devote some talking to it, because it's a really serious issue.
It is.
It's not just the elephant in the room, it's like the top problem. It's like maybe 12 minutes of discussion.
So that we can organise a branch meeting in December, and we just start self-organising?
December, why December?
Well,
Why don't we do it now?
The main reason why I'm not in the Green Party is that the Green Party is not a socialist party or a party based on that. If you look We in Brighton have had 2 Green administrations running the council. Were they any different from Labour? In fact, they were worse. The first thing they did when they came into the council was to provoke disputes with the refuse workers. They were no different from what traditional right-wing Labour administrations have been. If you look at, they took on the unions, that's right, Damien. If you look at the Green Party internationally, in Germany, they are the most pro-NATO party and the most anti-Palestinian party. They are a party of genocide. In Ireland, they put into power at the last elections Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, 2 conservative parties to keep out Sinn Féin. In their previous incarnation, they supported an austerity party, Fine Gael, in order to introduce the austerity as a result of the 2008-9 financial crash. The Green Party today in this country have policy supporting the IHRA and policy which, no, I'm afraid, Caroline, I know, much as I love you to bits, I don't agree with you on this. The Green Party is all things to all people. They don't have class and the Labour movement at the heart of their politics. They are, in essence, what some of us who are Marxists would call petty bourgeois. Don't be distracted by the glitter of Zach Polanski, who's great. I mean, that's a Jewish anti-Zionist. I admire him. He's very articulate. But the Green Party isn't just Zach Polanski. And I really ask you to think very carefully about that. Okay? He is great. And I wish Corbyn had half his zap, as it were. But unfortunately, we are left with what we have. So I think we should get on with the task of building our own party and get it together. We can have tactical alliances with them electorally, but there are political differences. Thank you.
I want to say that I've not got much, didn't have much time for the Greens, but if you see Zach Polanski now, I don't know if anyone saw a question time a couple of weeks ago, which we tried to avoid, he just was magnificent. I mean, he called the Reform guy out as a fascist, and Fiona Bruce didn't know what to do. She really didn't know how to handle it. He is a Jew. He says he's Jewish. He came from a Jewish family, and changed his name back to his original name, okay? And he has said, I'm against the genocide. He said it in a way, very, very few people have said it recently. I mean, he stood up there, and he's for a wealth tax, and he's also a climate guy. So really, we are looking at a socialist. I can't see, Tony, why you say this guy isn't a socialist. He's got energy. He's got energy. Corbyn, much as we love him, hasn't. He's almost 80. He missed out. He allowed himself to be put in his place, and he didn't go on the offensive about anti-Semitism. There is Zach standing there as a Jew, and he's saying, this is a genocide. Now this guy, okay, he's not a traditional Green, but he's moving. He's going to get the young people. He is going to, all the young people are going to vote for Zach. Unless this show gets on the road, and it's not looking good. I mean, my feeling is for this, your party, but they have not got their act together, and they've been arguing with each other, and it's so boring. The left constantly destroy themselves by arguing all the time, these infighting nonsense. And basically, we've got to make alliances. And if you're not particularly pro-Green, you think they're petty bourgeois. Zach Polanski is not petty bourgeois, Tony. He is not. And I think we say, right, if your party can't get their act together, and it's taken a long time, then we align with the Greens until your party do get their act together. But let's do something now. It's no point going home, we will do something when we get home. We've got to do it now.
It's incredibly disappointing, for me personally, I'm talking about my experience, to end on this kind of discussion. And it's not what we need. I would say, I hear you, And if you want to join the Green Party, well, why not? Just move on and do it. And I think it's fine, and I absolutely share your points. I can hear your points. And if people feel that way, then move and do it, you know, because why not? But I think I want to value, and this is really important to highlight, I want to value the people who came here with the intention of discussing your party and building it, and try to do it even with any pessimism around. So I think this is important to value that. And value that because I want to value the energy that everybody is putting here. Everybody is putting that kind of energy, and I do feel that we need to put that energy and not let ourselves to be defeated by pessimism. I can see what you mean. And I would say, if people feel that way, those who feel that way, well, do it. I mean, why not? Do it. But let's value people's intention, the work we have done, the ideas that we have captured, and let us not be defeated by pessimism.
There are to date at least 170 local proto-branches forming. So there is a groundswell. And I would say to people who would like Greens, your party, just join one of them and get on with it. What we need is more people involved. Now, I don't know which one. I'm dedicated to your party. I think it's the one that's got the most potential. But I totally see why people are pissed off with the leadership and what's been going on. It's been outrageous, really outrageous. But I tell you what, my experience is that the grassroots are getting on with it. There is so much passion and hope about the left uniting in cities and towns across the country. And we're talking about Wales, Scotland, there's even a Northern Irish branch. So I would say just get involved and make it happen.
I think it's good that those conversations happen when there's difference of opinion about what we're going to do as a party, what's our relationship with the Greens, should people join the Greens, should they stay with your party. We have to be able to have an open debate. Some people might be put off by that and they might think it's a sign of weakness, but I don't think it's a sign of weakness. It's not an ideal situation, but we're in a unique situation of the Zach Polanski and the growth of the Greens and some problems in the Your Party, and therefore it's not surprising people want to discuss it and they've got doubts and maybe they're a bit angry. That's normal. It's a foundation moment. It's very tricky. Maybe it will be resolved when we elect a leader, but that's not going to happen until early next year. And in the meantime, people are impatient. They want a result. They want certainty. And I don't think we're going to get it until we've got an elected leader. I am not sure that we are in a position where our leaders, our potential leaders, whether it is Jeremy Corbyn or Zarah Sultana, are able to carry out that task. I will say to you, I don't truly know. You know, that's the question. And I think they're both fantastic individuals. They're both courageous individuals. But they are in a new situation, and that is a big challenge. And we don't currently know whether that's possible. We're waiting. We're not 100% sure. You know, and there's a degree of uncertainty whether they can do that, whether they can work together, whether they can achieve consensus. You know, that's what's creating doubt.